right. Tonight we have Scott Hampton.
Oh no! In California.
Yes.
In California.
Yeah. Before we go to Scott, I'm going to say I have two more people on the list for gallery. We'll get to them after the demo. And if you have anything to add to that,
there we go.
Put it in the chat. I am going to ask everyone to hold their comments. I'm going to mute everybody.
Except Scott.
And
Scott,
how do I do this?
Scott, hold on. We got to do it properly. Hold on, Scott. Hold on.
Yeah, what am I doing on camera? What?
Don't move. Okay. Here's
Hey, everybody.
everybody is. We're about to mute the entire audience except Scott. And when we mute the entire audience except Scott, if you have a question or something, you'd have to unmute yourself to ask it. But we ask you to hold on to that until Scott's done with his demonstration. And this is Scott's demonstration. We don't want to correct him. We know he's going to make a few little mistakes here and there, but we live with it.
Always.
Appreciate it. But that's what we do. Then we'll go back to gallery. And if you have something to show on gallery, put it in the chat. And then we'll put you on the list. And immediately following Scott's demonstration, we'll come seeing what we have in gallery. Are you going to mess up? What are you going to show us tonight, Scott?
I'm going to mess up making a snowman, Eddie.
All right.
And it's going to have a natural edge mesquite hat. So that'll be interesting to make.
Oh,
but first, I want to make the body of the snowman and drill a few holes in them and things like that. But first, we need to measure. First, I need to true them up. So let's go to the 3 cam. Hey, you can see all around. Yeah. And I'm going to...
Hold on. Mute out everybody and Scott, come back up with audio.
Am I there? I should be there.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah, you guys can hear me, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Good. Okay. First thing I want to do is true up this blanket. Is 7 inches long, if I remember correctly, by about 3.5 inches diameter. And it's almost trued up. I got the centers pretty even. I rounded this over like last year, so it's going to be just a little wonky. So that's why I want to true it up again. So I'm just going to take my roughing gouge and start somewhere towards the inside here. You don't want to come in from the outside or you're going to chip out the edges there. These are just roughing, truing up cuts. And I'm going to turn up my lathe just a little bit faster. Just a little too fast. Get a little vibration out of it. So I want to turn it down. There we go. Once I get it trued up more, it's going to quit vibrating on me so much. The whole reason for truing up is just to get everything balanced. You're not fighting any vibrations. I think that's pretty much, yeah, that's good. Looks pretty smooth to me. So now I just want to true up the ends. Using a parting tool here real quick. And it's got a little knot module on the top there, and that's all right. Same thing's going to happen on the bottom. We'll get rid of those in a little while. And I'm undercutting the bottom of the snowman. This is going to be the bottom. This will be his head up here. I'm slightly undercutting it. So when he's sitting on a table, he'll just be sitting on the outside rim and he won't be rocking and rolling on a flat surface if the wood moves. Except that's what you hope for anyway. There we go. So now what we want to do is we want to mark. Where did I put my ruler? There it is, pencil. So I usually generally for a 7-inch, I'll do about 120 millimeters or about 4 3/4. See if that's big enough. Doesn't look like it to me on this one. It's a little small, so I'm going to go down to 4.5 inches. Yeah, that looks better. And we're just going to mark where the head and the body are going to meet right there. A lot of this is pretty basic spindle work. You can, I use a roughing gouge for most of it, a large one and a small one, plus a detail gouge when I want to get down in there where the head joins the body. So we're just going to start shaping a taper that's going to come here. Well, first I want to put a parting. I don't want to mess that up. I need to part that spot right here. So I have a little bit of wiggle room to work with. I'm not running the tool bevels into each other when I get to the head and the body. So I'm just going to start creating a taper towards the headstock using my large spindle roughing gouge. And I'm using this part of the tool right about here. It's not open like this. This creates sort of like a shearing action, almost like a skew chisel would. Well, I'm hearing some rumbling in the background on my audio. I don't know if that's me or somebody's mic's open. I can hear it on my end.
I'm not hearing
I don't
it.
hear it, Scott, so it might be on your end.
Okay, just checking. We got pretty much that taper done. So now what we want to do is we're just going to do a pilling cut. Turn the tool on its side. We're just going to peel right under where that parting tool mark cut was. And we're going to bring the tool back out a little bit deeper. And in a little bit, I'm going to get the spindle detail gouge out, and we're going to finish this cut with that. Just get everything nice and rounded over. So I want a little bit more of a taper. There we go. Now I'm going to do a peeling cut straight down into the horse head. You need to take a lot of this wood away. This head's going to be a little bit smaller than the body. If anybody's wondering, this is sugar pine that I get out of the Sierra Nevada mountains. A friend of mine harvests it, brings it down, and he's got a sawmill and he cuts it all up. All right, so got that there. We want to come in a little bit here. Not too much because we would need to adjust the tool rest a little bit, but here we go. And kind of bring that in, not too much more. So the rest of it, I'm going to finish up with a couple spindle gouge or a couple spindle gouges. I'm going to grab me my detail gouge first. This is a very shallow detail 1/2-inch gouge. It's got a really sharp point on it, which is going to allow me to get way down inside where between the body and the head. So I'm going to clean this all up with this tool. And we're going to come in here and do the same thing. Basically, kind of forming 2 large beads here. We're creating like a V cut right down in the middle. And then we're going to grab me another 1/2-inch regular spindle gouge to clean the rest of the head and the body up here. All right, so this is one of my favorite spindle gouges here. And we're going to finish this part up first, and then we'll get to the top of the head by moving the tool rest over on an angle. Kind of clean up all these tool marks left by the rough and gouge. And as I do this cut, my tool is open when I start, and as I get towards the bottom, I'm twisting the tool where the flute is just about closed. Not quite, but almost. All right, so there's a bump right here, so I'm just going to get rid of that. I can see that by looking at the horizon up on this section of the tool, or the blank. That's going to be just a little bit. I'm going to come back and do some scraping cuts just to clean up all those tool marks. I want to turn the tool rest over just a little bit, lower it down just a little bit so I got a better angle of attack, so I can round over the top of his head a little bit. Same thing. I start with the flute open, just like this. And as I go towards the live tail center there, I'm closing the flute. It's like that. And I just want to continue rounding this all over so we get a nice round head. I got 99 people watching. That's great. All right, so I'm just going to close my flute a bit here. And it's a little dull on the wings, so I'm going to grab me a 1/2-inch bowl gouge and use that as a scraper. Just using the wing of the tool. And come back the other direction. And get rid of most of the humps and bumps, and because this is soft wood, 180 sandpaper will smooth all of this out really, really fast. And what's special about the sugar pine is it's not full of those resins that you'll find in a lot of other types of pine wood, especially construction type, that's Douglas fir and that kind of wood there. You find at hardware stores. Although I have made ornaments out of 4x4 fence posts, made out of 4x4 pine, and a few other types of woods they make fence posts out of. So that's always interesting to play around with. All right, so we're just going to clean this area up here. This just helps with the sanding, so you don't have to spend so much time sanding. And I'm just going to come back in one more time with my detail gouge. Just kind of clean this area up right here where the head meets the body. Get that down right in there. Same thing here. It's hard for a regular spindle gouge or a bowl gouge to get down underneath. That's why I got a 40 bevel grind on it there. Right, you can see how far back that goes. I do freehand this one. You can see some of the facets in there. It's kind of hard to get the 40 with the Wolverine jig. It's kind of, you have to raise the tool way up on the wheel, and it kind of scares me a little bit. So I like to freehand this one tool. There we go. There's a little bit of a bump right here, so let's get rid of that and go all the way down. So I'm just looking and seeing, and a little bit of a valley right there. Want to get rid of that. So let me grab the sandpaper here. Move your tool rest out of the way. Turn the blade down to about 500. I have to rebuild my headstock pretty soon. I've ordered the parts. My speed controller doesn't work, and I think I've bit my spindle just a little bit. Not so much where it's going to cause any real problems after you chew some pieces up, but the threads on it too are just getting kind of worn down too from years of 15 years of taking chucks and other things off of that, on and off of the spindle. So it just wore out. So I'll probably be rebuilding this probably next week. And I do have a knot just going all the way through this piece, right about where I'm standing right there. We'll just see how it looks. All right, there's a really rough spot right there. Looks like I'm gonna have to cut that. It's a little too much for me to try to sand out. So I'm gonna grab my spindle gouge again. It's right about here. A little bit too deep. Sometimes this wood does tear out just a little bit. And kind of clean that up. Well, that's not gonna work. So let me grab that bowl gouge again here. Drop the handle a little bit, do a shear cut. As I'm scraping, should probably be using my heavier tool for this. I usually do my shear scrapes like this using a 3/4 inch bowl gouge. I might have to reach over there and grab one. See how I got that bit out of there. Still there. That's all right. Let me grab one more tool. This is probably a little bit sharper. Just checking here. Let's try this one. Turn up the speed just a bit. Bit of a smoother cut. It's probably tearing out just a little bit right there because of the sharp curve I put on it. See how that came out. All right, that's not so bad. I can probably sand that out real quick. Reach underneath when I'm not getting a whole bunch of dust coming at me. That's my mic. It's rubbing against my body or my shirt there. All right, so I need to sand just a little bit more on the bottom. That took care of that tear out. Needs a little more sanding right here on the bottom. I'm going to adjust my mic here real quick. I can hear that rumbling. Hopefully that's going to take care of it. I can hear it on my end, and I'm recording this to my computer, and I'd hate to have I have to go in and adjust the sound, get rid of that little extra noise. All right, there we go. We've got a body done right there. So we can kind of look at it, make sure we got all the tear out. Maybe a little bit more right there on the head. Take tear out. But while it's still in the lathe, we're going to do a little bit of drilling. For his arms, we got a corncob pipe, and his nose. Let's see here. Which one is going to be the first thing I need to drill? That's for the top, I believe. It's going to be for the. Gonna grab me one of those parts here, make sure I've got the right one for what I need. All right, this is going to be for his pipe. So I'm just going to get rid of my tool rest altogether, slide it out of the way so you're not fighting around it there. So you want to figure out what side looks better for the hole, for his face. It's got some cracking here, so I'm just going to put that in the back. That could actually make like a nice little button feature on his face. So this is where his nose is going to go, right about there. So we're going to put a little bit of a pipe in here. So we're going to drill this hole out. Let's see. I can probably, it's a little bit too big of a drill bit I've got. Let me find a smaller drill bit. Got that one over here on the workbench. I don't want to go too crazy with the hole. That one will work better. That Forstner bit out. I'll be using that Forstner bit in a minute when I drill a hole for his hat after he's off the lathe. All right. So we're just going to put his little pipe right here. So just kind of angle it a little bit, maybe a little bit further down. There we go. My grandson was the last one to use my drill, so kind of going backwards. And we're just going to check the fit. There's this little pipe. It's going to go in. It's a little bit too big for him, but it'll still look cute nonetheless. All right. So I'm going to make sure I got the right drill bit for his arms. What arm? Where'd my other one go? It's probably right off the table. Well, this one will work. Check the fit with this one. I'll just grab another one in a minute. Let's see if this drill bit's gonna work for it. Yep. All right. So you just want to kind of angle his arms outward and maybe towards the front a little bit. So I'm going to put where his nose up, straight up, and then decide where I want his arms to go. It's got a little stick here for his arms. I can cut that a little bit shorter. That's a little long for this guy. Or I can just go a little bit deeper with the drill. Make sure you don't go all the way through. There we go. That's a little bit better. I can still trim that off. And I also created an arm that's kind of bent. I'll show you guys that. Made this earlier so the glue would dry. I just kind of put it's still a little wet, but we'll still work with it. But that way he's kind of waving a little bit like that. And he's going to be wearing a little glove on his hand. So I'll probably add a little bit more CA glue to that. Just to make sure it's going to be holding nice and strong. So I want to come back with that same drill and come back to the other side, turn the nose upside down, do the same thing, but you want to angle up a little bit. Where's the other arm? There we go. Now the only other hole we would need is to clean that off right there first. I'm gonna grab me a little bit. I'll sand all that off when I'm sanding the hat. And I'll put this sander right in here and I'll just kind of round that all over and clean that up and then drill the hole for the hat. All right, so let me grab this is gonna be for his, let me get the overhead there. That's a little bit better. It's going to be the piece for his hat. It's a piece of mesquite. And I'm going to do my best to keep bark on the edge there where the rim is. And it's a really nice dark wood on the inside. So it's going to be a nice little hat. And I'm going to drill a hole to where it just sits to the side, just a little bit on an angle there. Let me mount this piece up. Which side? Which side? Oh, we do need to create a tenon on this so I can put it in the chuck. That way we can carve out the underside of the rim so it'll fit around that round curve of this hat. So we're just going to decide which one's going to look better for the rim. This one's got a kind of a gouge on it, but that might add a little bit of character to it. So let's just kind of eyeball this, get it between centers. And let's see how true we've got it turning here. It's not too bad, actually. It is out of shape just a little bit, so I'm just going to drop this end down. Yeah, that's running pretty good true. So true enough. You can't go by the pith in these branches because the pith is never actually in the middle on a branch most of the time from one end to the other. They're always a little off. Okay. First thing I want to do is create a tenon on the top here. I'm going to grab me a tool rest. All right. I'm just going to grab me a parting tool or my small, well, where's my small? There it is. This is my small roughing gouge. I'm just going to do a peeling cut down this way just to take away that bark. Then I'll grab my parting tool and create a tenon. Just going to crank that tail center up just a little bit more. There we go. It's not vibrating so much anymore. So we just want to clean this up. Do a tilling cut till we get the solid wood. All this wood's going to come off anyway, except about 1/2 inch to 3/8 for the rim. We're just going to work our way down, take a lot of this bark away. Stop there for now. Clean that up. Make sure that's nice and smooth at the end for the tenon. Add the parting tool. This is small. We'll do a cleanup cut. And the way I turn this on the inside here, I'll be able to reverse that and use the chuck again just to hold it and be able to clean off the top of the hat. So I'll save a little bit of extra time. So with being able to look at the jaws that I'm using, I'll know how big of a tenon to make. And these jaws are not dovetailed. They're straight talon serrated jaws. You don't need a really big tenon for this. You just want to make sure that this area right here, the flat is flat. So the face of the jaws will sit nice and firmly without any gaps. Even undercutting it slightly helps sometimes. All right, it's that quick. So I'm going to take this out, put it in the chuck. Look at that wood, it's going to be pretty. So I can back my tailstock up just a little bit. Add this in. I'll probably bring my tailstock up just a little bit just to for added support until I don't need it actually anymore. Blow all the dust out of the serrations of the jaw there. So this will run true. There we go. All right. So we're just going to do a little bit of shaping here before we get to the hollowing of the end. So bring the tailstock back up. Just as a cut down on vibration type of thing. All right, so I need to grab my small roughing out gouge again. I'm just going to kind of make a taper from and a little bit more narrow in the middle, and then we'll bring it back out. So let's turn up the lathe again. A lot of vibration out of this one. I'm going to check something real quick. Yes. Orange chicken and rice. It's taking my dinner order. All right. Sorry, I switched over when I didn't mean to. So let's go back to the 3 cameras so you guys don't miss anything. So we're just going to do some peeling cuts here. Adjusting my camera switcher. It's on my headstock from vibrating around. Don't want that vibrating off, so I got to adjust this a little bit better. Yeah, it's vibrating everywhere. Let's see if I can fix this. Don't want it falling into my lathe, so I'm going to swipe this around. Just moving the cord of my Elgato Stream Deck. So hopefully it'll hold a little bit better. There we go. All right. It's not going anywhere now. So we're just going to take the smaller roughing gouge and we're going to start creating a taper down. And back this way. You don't want to go too crazy with the shape of it. Filling cuts just to straighten that out a little bit. Get down just a little bit there. Just watch those jaws. You don't want to get too close. Then we're just going to take a little bit more of this limb away. And I'm going to create where the hat band will be. I'm going to cut that in. And to clean up the rim, I'm going to use my parting tool. Just come straight in. Get that hat band nice and flat. A little bit too big, so I'm just going to take that down just a little bit. We're going to decorate this snowman after we get done doing all the turning. So let's have a look and see how it looks. All right. That weathered look looks really nice. We got that little bit of a gouge out of it, but we'll probably be using this part for the front of the hat. This can go towards the back. It's got a nice figure right there. So this will definitely be the front of the hat right there. So we'll hide this in the back a little bit. All right, so I'm just going to check to make sure It's still nice and snug inside my chuck here. So I'm gonna give it another crank. I'm gonna remove the tailstock. Slide everything back. While it sits still in this position, I can do a little bit of sanding. Turn down the weight a little bit. There we go. This is 180 sandpaper, just like I used on the body. This is supposed to have a rustic look, so I'm not going to do any really fine sanding at all. 180 is usually what I only use. Just come in here, sand this area. Try to keep the sandpaper from getting caught on the, there we go, on that part of the bark. If this will do any better, get it up in there. There we go. That's better. Keeping your fingers away from that bark. Just taking the tool marks out, that's all. All right, so now we can work on that part. So I'm just gonna kind of shape this out into a, using my parting tool just to get it started. Then I'll move on to using a carbide tool. I want the point of my parting tool to be on center when I'm doing this. So you do want to adjust your tool rest so it's on the right height. There you go. Now don't come all the way out here with it. You want to leave a little bit of that rim left. So I'm just going to start here and be a little bit rough. That's why I wanted to start it with my parting tool. It's easier to start it with this than the carbide tool. Okay. Let me take my live center out so the point doesn't stab me. I'm using the carbide tool. So this is just a round carbide easy wood tool. I'm just going to set it there. Make sure when the tool's level, it's on center, which it is. So I don't need to adjust my tool rest. And we're just going to gently take that out. I'm just going to speed up the lathe a little bit. That way we got a cleaner cut and a faster cut. Whoop, too big of a bite. Caught me off guard there. So I'm going to bring my tool rest a little bit closer. Get rid of that overhang. We're just stitching this out so it'll fit flat on the top of the snowman's head. So we're just going to check that real quick. Hold the body of the snowman up, see how it looks. See if it's deep enough. It's got to go just a little bit deeper and a little bit more on the outside here because his head's it's gonna have a slight tilt to him like that. So we want to just go a little bit deeper right through this area here because it's kind of hidden. So you need to go in a little bit right along the rim part there on the outside. Take that down. There we go. That's probably gonna be better. Take the dish it out a little bit deeper. go. That should probably do it. Put my tool away. Always want to put your carbide tools up because if they fall on the ground, you're definitely gonna break the carbide off. So that's better. You can see how it's nice and fitting, nice and snug. Let's see if I can get a better look. It's not so bad. The 3 cameras. You can see how it's just very nicely snuggling right up in against the head of the snowman. That's what I was shooting for. You don't want really any gaps between the rim where it's going into his head, so you want to try to avoid that. This is going to be about where the top of his head is, where the hat will be facing. So you do want some of that grain to show through. So I'm just rolling it around a little bit just to check. Yep, looks good. Next step is to drill a hole right there. And that's so we can put a dowel in that part so we can join the 2 pieces together. I'm looking for my parting tool. So I'm just going to create a small divot. Let's see here. Let's go to that one. Just going to put a small divot right there, just so the drill bit has a place to start. Just gently go in, touch the center there. Doesn't have to be a big divot, it's just so the point of the drill bit can find center. Grab my, oh, I had it. Where are you? There you are. My drill chuck key, my Jacob's chuck. Make sure I get the right drill bit for the size of dowel I'm going to be using. So this one's too small. Where did my bigger one go? Let me get it out here. I might have my bigger one. Have it on the right there, but I guess I don't. Yeah, that's the right size. All right. My eyes were deceiving me. Tighten that down. And we'll just bring this up, not where it's touching the wood, because we want the drill bit to find that center part mark we made. We need to turn the lathe down before we do any drilling. And let's see how far I need to go in. Probably to where that black mark is would be a good spot. The end of that black mark is how deep I want to go. Nice and easy. Hold on to your chuck while you're drilling. In case there anything gets caught. You don't want anything to come out and bite you. Have your chuck come out of the tailstock. Start flailing around while it's spinning on the lathe, but the drill bit's still in the piece of wood. Just cranking that back. I'm going to double check the size of the hole before I go any further. Should fit right in there. Just almost. Gotta go just a little bit bigger. Gotta find me just a slightly bigger drill bit. Thought I had one out. Here. I've got so many drill bits. This will do the trick. So let's take that one out. Put this other one in. hold that dowel up one more time just to make sure I got the right size here. I'm just eyeballing it, and it looks like the right size. Enlarge this hole a little bit bigger. Same procedure, just nice and slow and easy pace. It's just right, back that off. Check the size one more time. And that's good enough to where I can just tap that in there. I can do it without adding any glue to it at all if I want. It's tight enough to do that. I'll probably just put a very small dab of glue in the bottom of the bowl before I tap it in, just to keep it all secure. Little bits out of the way so they don't end up falling on the ground. Keep that one a little bit out so I can use it for the top of the snowman's head once we sand that down. So that's pretty good. So now what we want to do is I need to create a shelf right here where that's rounded over. So I can place this into the chuck and reverse turn it. So I'm going to grab me my other carbide tool. This is a straight cutter. I can just go straight in, back that chuck out of there, kind of in the way. Sure, it's going to be on center there. We're just going to come in and make a shelf right there. Doesn't need to be anything big. I'm not going to make the opening any wider. I'm just going to use the edge of the carbide tool and just come in on the edge here. See if you guys can see that better. I'll get out of the light a little bit. I'm just bringing it towards me, make a flat area. And fluff a little flat on the bottom for the jaws to rest on. Just like that. We've lost a little bit of that bark, but I'm not worried about that. So I'm just seeing if it's need to go in just a little bit. It's kind of not exactly parallel, so I'm just going to come in a little bit better. Simple cuts. Go. All right, so we'll just snug the jaws up there, not very tight. And it should hold, no problems. If you have any questions, please let me know. Everybody's being so quiet.
So,
I heard something real quick. No? I'm just snugging this
no,
up.
I started to talk and then I realized
okay,
I
that's
answered my
fine.
own question.
Just snug it up. You don't want to crack the wood. It's kind of thin right in that area. So this is just to get rid of this tenon we created earlier. Move this dowel back over to the table where we'll be working in a little bit. Now, almost done with the turning. We just got to do this one part and then we can start adding decorations to the piece. There we go. So we got it on an angle. I'm going to use a spindle gouge here, so too high. Just to do some push cuts to get rid of that tenon. Or you could actually do push cuts this way or this way. I'm going to try doing it this way first and use a hole gouge to do that and see how well that works. Just nice, easy cuts. You don't want to overdo it. There isn't a whole lot holding that on. Just easy cuts. That's what I was afraid it was going to do. That's why you do the easy cuts. I'm just checking to see how well I've got that. That should be all right. I guess I just didn't have it snugged up enough. But I'm going to bring up my tail center so we can have a little bit of extra support in case that happens again. And we can get it down really small, just a small little piece of wood. I can hear the wood barely popping there. So we just want to make sure we don't pop it to where we crack the whole hat in half. Grab my name. There you are. Tail center. All right. Just bring that up. There's just on the outside of touching. And bring that point up. Bring that up just to snug it up. It doesn't, you don't need to crank it down or anything. It's just a little extra added support. Bring the tool rest right up in there. Grab that bowl gouge one more time. Go. Whoa. Go back and forth, make sure the top of the hat is flat. You can make it a little undercut if you like, or concave. Then I'm going to grab me the detail gouge. Just going to come in here and I'm going to peel this away. And do a push cut right down in there just so everything breaks free. Back this off a little bit here, all the way to the end of the bedways. Just do a push cut. There we go. And then we grab the sandpaper, sand the top. And use the sandpaper along the edge just to ease that corner over. Go back and forth over it just one more time here. See how it looks there. Nice and smooth. It's got a few weathering cracks there, but that's fine. I kind of like that. Before I take it off the lathe, I'm going to give it a spray. I'm going to turn off my fan over here real quick so it doesn't spray all over the place. This is this Krylon. It's satin crystal clear acrylic. This is just going to bring all that grain out of the hat here. So check make sure it's running clear when we spray it. And just kind of back off the can. You don't want to be up close. I don't go fanatical about the finishing on here. This is just to darken the wood. Don't worry about getting spray on my truck. I clean them all the time. To the top.
Scott, what do you clean your truck with when you have something on it like that?
Usually just paint thinner.
Oh,
Yeah. Usually I use one of those, I use a gray Scotch pad
okay.
that you can get at the hardware store and paint thinner, and it just comes off. I don't soak it or anything. I just put some paint thinner on the pad. This kind of pad right here. And I just,
Thanks.
get some paint on there. Yep. It cleans it off pretty quick. And that pad is,
I spray a lot of lacquer-based sanding sealer on the lathe, so I use lacquer thinner. I spray a lot of lacquer-based sanding sealer on the lathe, so I use lacquer thinner. But it's all use the solvents that you match what you spray.
oh yeah, you want to make sure that this is acrylic, and the paint thinner usually takes it off pretty well. But like Matt said, if you're doing lacquer, then use lacquer thinner. Right. So I've got my.
And what is lacquer thinner?
It's like paint thinner, but made for lacquer finishes.
Yep. It's toxic, so you got to make sure you have good ventilation when you do it.
Oh yeah.
It's not denatured alcohol or something like that.
Oh no,
correct.
no.
It's a different solvent. Yes.
All right, I'll look for it.
Yep, it's in a different tin. Just says lacquer thinner on it.
Okay.
Yep, you can get it at the hardware stores. So I am using my hot air gun here, and I'm just gonna dry this off real quick. So I don't get fingerprints all over it when I take it off the lathe. Otherwise, I'd be wearing latex gloves, and I would just grab it right here and put it over on the side and let it dry. But I want to get this all assembled tonight for you. So that's why I'm drying it this way. It dries pretty quick. So I'm just gonna see if it's tacky anywhere. A little bit right there. That's where the finish didn't really soak in. That's the harder wood, so it didn't soak into the wood as much. So it's gonna take a little bit more to dry. The wood soaks it, or the finish soaks into the wood, it tends to dry a lot faster.
I heard somebody earlier start to ask a question, and then they thought it was a stupid question. And
nothing's a stupid question.
Exactly. It's either something we've not thought of yet, or we've been there before.
Yeah.
So
don't feel stupid about asking any question. That's what we're here to do, is to learn. So
I learn more from the stupid questions than the smart ones.
Right.
Yeah, that happens a lot, doesn't it? All
When I
right, so you
first
got
came
that.
on here, I used to ask the stupid questions because I knew there had to be at least one other person out there that had that same, but they just
yeah. They just didn't ask it, or they're too afraid to.
Yeah.
I always told my adult students the only stupid question is the one you didn't ask.
There you go.
That's it. So I'm changing my chucks to ones that have pin jaws in it, so I can put my disc sander in there so I can sand the top of the Snowman off. And we can drill him real quick. Let's see, 180. There we go. So, not the 180. This only takes a second here.
Scott, you use the dowel just to make sure it stays secure?
Yeah, that's the whole idea. When I sell these, I tend not to glue the hat and the body together and things like that. It allows people to be able to pack them away much easier if they want to put them away for the year. Instead of, same with the arms, the twigs, I don't glue any of those kind of parts into the piece, because I want people to be able to take those off, because those are the parts that are going to break the most. So having that dowel allows it to sit where, on the angle, but then they can put it away, and it's not as such of a tall piece to have to pack away for the
Gotcha.
summer. All right,
Change your
this will
camera.
just go. Oh, yep. Let's go overhead. There we go.
Now there's something I've not thought about right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't even have to use a mandrel like this. You could just take a scrap piece of wood and put a tenon on it and glue some sandpaper to it and stick it in your chuck.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
I usually use my belt sander for this.
I
There you
like to
go.
use I like to use this one because it's got the soft pad on it, and it allows me to keep the shape of the top of the head a bit better.
But your hat brim is covering most of it.
Oh, I couldn't hear that one.
We
That was
can't
quiet.
see
The
what you're
camera's
doing. Your
shooting at
hat
your
brim's
hat.
in the way, Scott.
Oh, sorry. My hat got in the way. Thanks for yelling at me. I forgot I was wearing a hat. I usually don't, but I have my fan on in here, and my hair is getting a little long. The fan was blowing it everywhere. So I went in the house and grabbed the hat. So I'm not too worried about the markings on top because the hat's going to cover that. You can see how quickly that took that away.
Yes.
All right, so now all we want to do is just drill the hole. Grab my drill and that drill bit for the chuck or for the same size dowel. And I'm just going to go back and forth with this drill bit a little bit, just enlarge it a little bit because I don't want it really, really tight. I don't mind the dowel being tight in the hat, but I want people to be able to remove that or turn the hat to the direction they like. So make sure I've got it going the right way. There we got her. So I see a lot of people, they if they want the hat on a slant, they tend to start the bit here on an angle. But I find it tilts the hat up too much. So I just put it right in the middle and just put it just a slight, you don't want to go crazy, just a very slight angle on the bit. I'm just gonna set it right there. Oh, I need to sand the bottom of that off too. I'll do that while the sandpaper is still in there. But we'll work on the other parts. I can sand it later. So it's just on a slight angle. Oh, drill bit came out. That was weird.
That happens to me.
Yeah, this one has flats on it, so I probably didn't have it in there quite right. There we go. That's better. So I just want to go a little bit deeper. There we go. All right, so we'll grab the hat and my little hammer here and the dowel. That out of the way. So we got that and that. I'm going to tap the dowel into the hat. It's good and snug to where I'm not, well, maybe I'll just put just a dab of glue in this. And for these, I like to use this type of glue, Type Bond Quick and Thick. It sets up really, well, it says, 2 times faster than their normal glue. So that's what I shoot for. All right, so I'm just going to set that in here first. Maybe I need to increase the size of that a little bit more. So I'm just going to go open it up with the same drill bit I used a second ago. And just make sure I got the angle right. And I'm just going to kind of open that up by get around in that hole a little bit. I'm not too worried about if it's too loose in that part. There we go. It slid right in and out. And now I just want to put make sure it's going to go the hat's going to go all the way in there. Make sure that hole in the hat's deep enough. It looks like it. If it's not, we can just adjust the depth of that hole. So I'm just going to put this just a little bit, just a tiny bit in the bottom here. Just as a security measure. I'll take my rawhide mallet and just tap it till it stops. Go. And this should hole needs to go a little bit more. How do I got that? Yeah, hole needs to go a little bit deeper. And it's not the right angle I was shooting for. Darn. Well, it's tilting towards the front, but that's all right. I've seen that done before. So he's got his hat. It's kind of, let me go to my face here. You can see it's kind of tilting a little too much, actually. I didn't quite drill it right. So I'm going to go just a little, it's hitting right there. So let's see if I can adjust this a little bit better and see where I can get it to look a little bit better. I am going to drill a different hole real quick. I'm going to go I don't know if I can do that. Darn it. I can work on that at another time. I'm kind of running short on time, so I can fix that hole. I'll fill it in with another dowel, and then I'll re-drill again at a later time. So let me adjust the camera here so you guys can see what's going on my workbench. There we go. Getting everything set up on my workbench here. Make sure my camera's good and tight so it's not wandering around. All right. This.
Always on live, right?
Huh? Do what?
I said always
yeah.
on a live, right?
On live, yeah. All right, there we go. Workbench. I'm going to change. Oh, let's see which way's my hand's coming. I'm going to change the angle of that real quick so it looks like you guys will have the same view I'm having. So I'm going to go into OBS and I'm going to change that real quick. There we go. That looks right. Let's see. Yep. You guys can see it.
At your house?
Huh?
That dog barking, is that at your house?
Yeah, that's my house.
Okay.
All right, so we got this guy right here. I'm just making sure you guys can see that all right, right? Yeah? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot to drill the hole for his nose. So let me do that again. Let me grab my drill. I got the pipe, but I forgot his nose. We don't want to forget his nose. Grab the drill bits here, make sure I get the right size. All right, this will only take a second. And I'm just going to use natural branch. The same kind I'll be using for his arms. So I just want to drill straight in right here. Right in that spot on his. Yeah, see if his nose goes in far enough. Not, it's a little, still a little too far. I'm just going to go a little bit deeper into the skull here.
Digging for brains?
Yeah, I'm doing a lobotomy on this guy. All right, so let's see. That's not the right one here. There we go. That's better. Now we got a nice little hook nose there. I created this arm earlier. So I glued those together. You guys saw that. I'm just going to grab some CA glue because it's not really holding on as well as I thought. So I'll put some CA glue on it and spray it with the. Let me grab a pair of pliers. The top on this is really tight. Unless I got another one that's not so tight. Let's see, any glue will come out of this one. Nope. All right. Let me grab my pliers here. Quick. I'll pop that lid right off of there. Okay. All right, so I'm just working that off. Should loosen up here in a second. There, because it's coming off. Come on. So tight. Ah, there goes everything.
Hey, Sarah?
There we go.
Sarah's getting ready to log out. I just wanted to make sure she saves the chat before she leaves.
Oh, yeah. All right, that'll work. And I got glue on my finger. That's never fun with CA glue. We're just going to put some on there. And spray some of the quick set. That'll help hold it together a little bit better. Out of the way, that out of the way. All right. So this arm can go in here. Oh man, it's still sticky. Come on, set up. There we go. Just set that arm right in here, like that. But then we've got a glove we can put on it. I'll glue these on later. I'll just show you guys. But little mittens like that. I got two of them. I go to Hobby Lobby and they have these little kits that comes with a hat and a scarf and mittens and stuff that you can buy. It's all one little package, which is pretty cool. But right now, I want to glue some buttons on here, so I'm looking for my glue. There you are. Let's see here. So I just use, oh man, my buttons went flying just a minute ago. Huh? Oh, I got more right here. Let me grab these. So we're just gonna put a button here. We're gonna put 3 buttons all on him all together. So this is where this other stuff comes in really good too. It really sticks to the wood and plastic, which is really great. And it dries clear, so I don't.
It's what I use too. It's great glue for this.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it seeing a little bit of it because it does dry clear. This button has a little bit of character to it, so I'm just gonna put that there. And another green one with the stripes facing the other way. Like that. And next thing I want to do is I'm going to grab the scarf that comes in that kit. I'm trying to see if I can use these 2 pieces of wood to hold this guy together so he's not moving around so much. There we go. So that kit I was talking about comes with the, move these over just a little bit to get under his nose. I didn't notice they were off center a little bit. That glue is already setting up. I could feel it. I moved the buttons. There we go. That's good enough. And there's this little scarf that you can glue this on there. So I'm just gonna kind of tuck those under there. Come here, little guy. Little man. And I'm going to just put a little bit of dab of glue right here to help hold the scarf on. Just like that. And I'm glad this glue dries clear, so it's going to be practically invisible when this is done. Now I like to put googly eyes on these guys. So I got googly eyes here. The thing with googly eyes, you got to make sure you put some what's called teeth on the bottom because they're so smooth. The glue won't stick. So you got to take it and rub sandpaper on the bottom or put a piece of sandpaper on your workbench and just kind of rub it around a little bit just to give the bottom of these eyes a little bit of teeth for the glue to hold on to. All right. And let's see here. Let's put his eyes on. Doesn't take a whole lot of glue. You don't want it squeezing out everywhere. So the glue will flatten out when you press these on. These eyes are a little bit big. He's just gonna kind of like a little bit of a wandering type of snowman. There we go. We'll put his, where did I do this little corn cob pipe? Oh, there you are. Stick that in there. We'll glue that in. A little bit of dab of glue. This glue sets up really quick, so. There it goes. It's already setting up, so I'll just hold it in for just a second there. And after I fix his hat with a new hole, I'll put a dowel in this. I'll put a dowel in this hole right here because it is off a little bit. And I'll just re-drill this the way I like it. You won't see the repair at all once the hat's on there. But it is right now, the hat kind of leans forward a little bit. But there we go. Snowman.
I love
we
that.
got there.
Looks great, Scott.
Nice, Scott.
Thanks.
That's
Cool.
cool, Snowman.
Nice demo.
See,
Scott.
look at this. His hat's leaning forward like he's cool, man. But if that was the case, his rim needs to come a little bit further if that's the way the look I want. It's sitting back a little bit too far. But yeah.
All right.
All right.
Good.
Great.
That's cool.
All right.
That's cool.
Good job.
There you go. Snowman.
That is one
Oh,
cool.
wait. I forgot to put his arms in to show you guys. There's one arm.
His glove.
Yeah, I got to put his gloves on. Where did his gloves go? There's one. And let me put the glove on the other hand. There. Now he's better. There we go.
Nice.
Cool.
I love the gloves.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for letting me do the demo this time. So appreciate it.
Thanks for
job.
stepping up, filling in.
Yeah. And the accessories I get at Hobby Lobby, they have a section of just snowman parts.
Cool.
At least we're at my Hobby Lobby they do. So I'm sure most of the other ones do too. So
Yep.
all right. I guess we can get back to doing show and tell.
Yeah.
So
Bud.
All right.
thank you very much.
Well,
All
thanks,
right.
Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
You're quite welcome.